Hi guys, Neeson and John here, and I was gonna do a video, well I am gonna do a video once Neeson gets this little baby episode out of his little brain. So for those of you who don't know, Neeson is a guide dog. He's 4 years old and he likes to gnaw on my body parts. He's just a big baby. So we're gonna do a quick Q&A because it's been a while since I've done this, and I've got some new subscribers to my channel. So I thought I'd do one, and I've been getting a lot of silly questions lately, and I used to think that there was no such thing as a silly question, but I'm learning that when it comes to guide dogs, and because of how mainstream they are now, just some people are pretty clueless and they just need to use some common sense. And that said, if I've learned anything over the last 1.5 to 2 years, it is people do not have common sense. So I wrote down some questions on my phone, and you're going to cooperate, right? We'll see. And I'm just going to rip through these. Yeah. Okay. How old is your guide dog? Neeson? Stop it. I love you too. I do love you. Neeson is 4. His birthday is in March, and yeah, he's 4 years old. So basically 4.5 at this point. Although he still acts like a little baby, don't you? Yes, you do. How old is your guide dog? Okay, what breed is your guide dog? Neeson is a... Stop biting me. Neeson is a yellow Labrador retriever. So yellow Labradors, Labradors in general, golden retrievers are the most common breeds of dog used for guide work. Don't even think about it. Golden Retriever Lab crosses are very common. German Shepherds, Poodles, I've seen a Collie or two. I'm in Canada, so a popular breed to use here is the Burmese Mountain Dog. I know in Europe they use boxer dogs as well, but far and away Labrador Retrievers are the most common breed used for guide work because of their disposition, and they're very easy to train. They're also very bad, as you can see. Neeson just likes to ham it up for the camera. Stop biting. Stop it. Oh my god, you are such a ham. How long do guide dogs work? You guys, guide dogs work depending on their environment that they live in and operate in, and depending on how well they're looked after. They can sit. Okay, you can look. You're being so... Neeson. It's hard to take him seriously, but right now he is being kind of bad right now, but that's okay because he's my boy, and he's good 90% of the time. He's good. So guide dogs can sit. Guide dogs can work usually 6 to 7 years. So they begin their working life generally under the age of 2. So 6 to 7 years brings them to 8 or 9. Anytime after that, and you're kind of like, it's about that time to start thinking about retiring them. I'm on my 3rd dog. So Luther, I retired him when he was 8. He developed a fear of the city bus, so I had to retire him. Oh, you're so... Okay, yeah, go away. Lars worked till he was 11. And now I have Neeson. You know, I'll hold your bone for you and you can chew that. Okay, let's do this. So yeah, it just depends on a lot of factors, but if you look after your dog properly, and if you don't overwork them, chances are they're going to work for a long time. Where can't guide dogs go? This is a good question I got the other day. Technically, wherever I go, my dog can go. Now that said, there are some places where I choose to leave him at home. If I'm going to a concert or a sporting event or a movie, I will leave Neeson at home. Not the best environment to have your dog out in. A movie, for example, Neeson's gonna be lying under my seat where there's popcorn and spilled pop. God knows what else under there for him to indulge himself in. And it's just loud and it can be pretty scary and stressful. So I choose to leave him at home when I go places like that. And I hope the majority of guide dog users do the same thing as well. Sometimes you gotta think of what's in your dog's best interest, not what's in your best interest. What's the most funniest thing your guide dog has ever done? So Neeson does funny things all the time, so it's hard to pick one, but anytime somebody asks me this question, I always tell them this one story. He was not guiding me. We were playing at a dog park with some other dogs, and Neeson was running around with his doggy friends, and all of a sudden he let out this big bark, but his voice cracked at the same time, so it was like he was going through puberty. It was the funniest bark I have ever heard. So that would be the funniest thing my guide dog has ever done. Does your guide dog ever make mistakes? Yes, of course. He is not a robot. These guys are dogs. They're not robots. So they do make mistakes, whether they are distracted or bored or tired. Sometimes they make mistakes, and it's important to acknowledge those mistakes so they are aware that they have made mistakes and then move on. Simple as that. Can guide dogs go on airplanes? Yes, of course. So Neeson's from California, so I had to fly to him to train with him and then bring him back. Any guide dog that is certified can fly. Even some dogs that aren't can fly. Neeson will lie at my feet when we fly. Some airlines will even give me an extra seat free of charge, and he will lie in the footwell of that seat so we have more legroom. What happens to guide dogs when they retire? Great question. A couple of different options. Ideally, the owner will keep the dog as a pet, if possible. Now, if not possible, they can try to find a family member or a friend, someone close to them they trust to look after their dog. If both options fail, the guide dog school where you get your dog will take them back and find them a loving home. So each guide dog school has a list about a mile long of people that want these retired dogs because they make great pets when they retire. So Lars, my second dog, I could not keep him. We already had 3 big dogs living with us, so I had to make the tough decision to give him up. Now, luckily for me and Lars, he went to a great home. A friend of mine adopted him. Him and his wife adopted him, so I got to see Lars often, and I got to enjoy the last years of his life with him. But ideally, yes, if the owner can keep the dog, they often will. Can dogs read traffic lights? No, they can't. So the handler is responsible for determining when it's safe to cross. So I know this sounds kind of daunting to think that without vision you can cross an intersection, but it's really not when you get used to using your other senses, so your ears. So for example, for the typical no frills traffic intersection, when there is parallel traffic, that is your sign, that means you go. When there's horizontal traffic going across your body, that means you do not go. It's simple as that. How long do guide dogs work? I've touched on that. The last question that I'm gonna answer, I didn't write it down because I remember it clearly. It was just asked to me this morning. What's the funniest thing about your guide dog? So, no, not what's the most funniest thing. what's the most favorite thing about your guide dog that you have? So Neeson, I have a lot of favorite things about him. So it's hard for me to pick just one. He's Jekyll and Hyde. So off harness, you've seen some of this in this video actually. He's such a baby. He's very clingy, needy, lovey-dovey, snuggle-bug. He loves to play, cuddle, nap. He likes to bark a lot. Neeson, speak. Bark a lot. He's just a very social dog. Loves to be around people, interacting, just being a part of the action. He's just a big goofball. But on harness, he is the total opposite. He is stoic, very serious, has a great pull in harness. Is very, very driven, very determined. He can problem solve very, very well. And he just loves to work. So that on-off switch that he has would be my favorite thing about him. And if there's any questions that I have not answered, I'm sure there are, just leave a comment down below and I will get to it and reply. Cheers.